All right, and welcome back to the world's worst podcast. I'm that autistic asshole who attempts to create, some sort of online community for the autistic. Hopefully here in Vermont, because they seem to hide all their autistic people. I don't know where they hide all these fuckers at, but there's got to be more than just me. I have a tendency to annoy people with music. Well, whether it's specifically annoying or not, I'm not exactly sure. Not good at reading, whether it's being accepted well or not, because, nobody really watches this, so it don't really matter. Well, I got out the softbox that I acquired, which was supposed to be a European plug, and it wasn't. It was actually a US plug. So the little adapters I bought I didn't need. Only problem is that it was two of those lights, and so far I've only found one diffuser. I mean, I could rig something up, I've got some leftover, and it's basically, this is almost no difference. Is I could rig up some, like a piece of a shower curtain and then kind of duct tape it over the thing, which would, look very unprofessional, but, that's kind of the thing was I was like, I got like a big boy setup, So let's see the difference that it makes. Let there be light. The thing is, I was thinking about getting a another camera. I mean, not that. It's like the videos don't look bad, but they don't necessarily look that great either. But they do look a shitload better than using a fucking, using a. They look a shitload better than using a smartphone, especially if you're using the camera that's on the screen side, because you need to be able to see that it's, framed right. And, it actually, it works a shitload better than just using, a phone. And it's one of those little Ozbot, it's the Tiny SE, which is basically means it's the one that's got a little gimbal. But it runs, instead of running 4K, it runs 1080p at 100 frames per second. And I was looking at getting the 4K version, or at least the 4K or the non-gimbal version would be the Meet 2 4K. And the problem is that I keep running into is that, yes, I will get a little I'll get a little bit of improvement, of like, picture quality, picture, this is going to be fun because my stereo remote apparently runs at the exact same fucking frequency as that fucking light, so that's going to be difficult to deal with. Oh man. But yeah, I was looking at getting one of those, and it's like they're marked down from like $130 to $100. And the thing is like, could I get it and it not be like, the end of the world? Now, yeah, I mean, I could get it. It wouldn't be the end of the fucking world. But the other problem is that, it's like justifying it in my mind. It's like, well, I could still make the end of the month without too much, struggle. but I already bought a screen this month, which I'm not sure if I'm happy with. I'm still not sure if I'm happy with my screen or not. But, we'll see. Maybe over time I'll warm up to it more. It just seems like the smaller screen I had better clarity. And it's supposed to have an HDR mode, which I don't know whether it's automatically in HDR or whatever. Whenever I switch it on the computer, it goes fucked up. It's like it's really the contrast is really messed up. Like you can barely. It's like the background is too bright, and then the stuff that you would read or whatever, like all the little black numbers or letters are all like really light colored. So I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like I just can't seem to. No matter what I do, there's always something wrong with something that I chose, and it's just annoying. Is all. And but yeah, so it's hard figuring out what it is you exactly want to do or what you want to get, because no matter what you do, it's like you're always going to make a bad decision and you're stuck with it, and it's just one of those things, I guess. Like, I just can't win. I wonder what the difference is without the HDR. Alright, so the background's a little darker. It's a little more, well, this is, I guess, actually kind of correcting, so. The thing is, I realize is that after looking into it, these cameras, this particular version of the Osbot, the S, which is basically their entry level, the SE, is actually optimized for low light. So if you don't have a lot of light, or you don't really have, a way to really set up a good, set up quickly or easily, for lighting or whatever. This kind of optimizes your. It's kind of designed to, versus the Meet 2, even though it has a larger sensor. It's like 1 divided by 2.8 or 1 over 2. So it's like a half inch, or it's like a half over, like, I don't know, like I would say between a third and a half. I'm not sure how to. I can't really. I don't know why they put it that way. Why don't they just put it like by millimeter, or whatever? Because then I can like relate to. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's, let's say it's a 20 millimeter, is a half. I can't remember what the scale is. It changed the scale, but well, this one's 20 and that one's a 15, so it's 3/4 of what this one is. But so far, considering they say anything under a half inch is probably something they would suggest against. But, I haven't really had anything to complain about necessarily, especially for the money, because, I had gotten out my Samsung that, I had started to use and then realized this is going to be a major hassle to use this. And the fact that I couldn't get it, yes, and for some reason, the Link to Windows app is like different or something than it was the last time I used it. And it used to be pretty easy just to hook it up to because I could hook up my phone straight to the OBS, and now it's like, I'm trying to figure out how to get 2 separate cams going at one time, because I'll probably eventually have at least 2 cams. For projects I work on, I want to have an overhead cam for that. And that's going to be kind of difficult, because I don't know, but you see, with the Osbot, with the way their software works, their control software, there's like when I look up at the top of it, it's like number 1, and then there's number 2, 3, and 4. So if you want to add extra cameras, apparently you can do it all through that same app, And I thought about getting one of those Insta360 Link 2Cs, which is basically the equivalent the Insta 360 equivalent of a Meet 2 4K, because it's normally $150. Now it's marked down to $100, and then the Meet 2 is $100. So I was trying to decide if I want to get a 4K camera, if it's really worth it, or will I have to then worry more, or I have to have more concern about the actual lighting, or should I just stick with a 1080p, which would even though that's the thing is they say the higher the frame rate, the more difficulty it'll have with like you'll need more light. But with this, apparently that's not the case. It has something in there that kind of offsets that, where it actually has better light for even with such a high frame rate. So I don't know. I'm still trying to decide and figure out what exactly I want to do or can do. And also, it's kind of like, because I don't have a dedicated GPU, I got a integrated. If they say as integrated goes, these are pretty decent ones. If I want to start learning how to edit, if you go to 4K, that's going to be like, this is like 4 or 5 times, the amount of data to do 4K. So it's going to require much longer rendering times, or it's going to be a lot harder to get it to work properly with with what I'm working with. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But actually sounds really good. Actually sounds pretty good now. I think it's amazing how much strings will make a difference. Like trying to use old strings versus putting on new ones, because they had sat around, and I burn a lot of incense, and I always had a wind it's like a wind tunnel in here most of the year. I was trying to move area in, move air out, and they were just pretty nasty. I hadn't changed them in months on pretty much any of them. So every time I pick one up and try to play it, would just sound. Even if I even wiped down the strings and everything, see if that would make some difference. No, it makes no difference at all. It still sounds. It just still sounds fucking terrible. And then after I adjusted the order on my pedal board a little bit, so I moved it back to where it was. And then I also realized that some of the pedals I have, like my tuner pedal, for some reason it affects the tone. Like something about it, whether I don't know there's something defective in it, and the bypass, something where it's supposed to just bypass the signal, it doesn't, and it does something to it. But yeah, just like taking that out of the chain actually did make a difference, and it sounds a shitload better now than it did before. And most of it's just because all of my strings were that fucking nasty. I'm not really a guitar player. I just do a really good job faking that I can play guitar. Stevie loves that fucking. He loves to play that E minor pentatonic. Oh, I forgot his middle. Like that Crossfire. What you said was a song his band wrote, and I guess he just came up with the guitar parts over top of it. And so, which is this is tuned to E standard. He plays E flat, so it's actually. But he's whatever I guess given a situation where he's got to improv, that's just his go-to is always that minor pentatonic scale. That it's like I think when he did Let's Dance, that's pretty much what he did on that too. Was just these like Albert King style licks, all in an A pentatonic kind of. I think it was an A. Or actually. So I'm not sure if he I'm sure he played in the same tuning that he always does, but he may have adjusted it, a half step to be in line with the rest of the recording. And Nile Rodgers, of course, did all the rhythm work on that. And Stevie just came in and laid down, some of the baddest fucking blues licks, pop music ever heard. And I kind of what made him famous, I guess. But yeah, I wanted to test out the light, see how that worked, and I should decide what I want to do with those bar lights I got, because they're not super bright like the other one, so I was kind of hoping maybe I could just set them back here on the floor, kind of just angle them up and see what kind of what kind of feel I could do. Let's see. Yeah, they don't really come up like I was hoping they would. Like I could put them down there on the floor and just angle them up the wall. And maybe they'd shine on the wall or something, but they aren't really working like that. So, that's with the light. This is with the shadow box. And this is like one of those octagonal, it looks like a big umbrella. And without. And you see, the thing is, with this kind of light right here, it should look a lot worse than it does. But that's why they say that, this is actually a good camera for someone who has, and may have low light issues, because I don't really like a lot of light. And, I might just use my landscape or my architect's lamp instead, just because of the fact that, I got to have some kind of light, but that way it's not like overdoing it. And I could have, this one that kind of fills in. But then it also, it's like I like kind of like the contrast of, the more glowing background. So, yeah. time. Yeah, I didn't do it that time. Hold on. Huh. Alright, well. That's fine with me. But yeah, it you know, I don't know. I guess the lighting is one of those things that's, I mean, yeah, it lights up the whole thing a lot better, but it seems, I don't know, I kind of like having the, the background a little darker. But whatever. This is my other. It's my other, I guess, well, I have 3 strats that are kind of like ready to go. And they do have a little bit different sound. This one has a little bit more, how can I put it? This one's got a little bit, it's got a little more oomph in it, even though they're a lower output pickup, they're supposed to be like a 64 or 65 strat style pickup. Versus the Seafoam one that's right there, that one's like it's supposed to be like they're supposed to be like a clone of a Texas Special. Yeah, they're a Guitar Fetish. They're like, I think the 65. If they're like their higher end stuff, like they're not the like professional. They call them, they have something called like professional series. And then there's other ones that are kind of like in between. I guess is what these are, but I think they were on sale. I think they're like $50 or something in the clearance section. Plus there was like a discount. They're good sounding pickups, But it's also the Guitar Fetish body. It's got, the double bound poplar. And this one's actually not a hardtail, but I do got a big ass brass block in there, and I got 5 screws. That thing is anchored down. It doesn't go nowhere. I actually had a block of wood wedged in it, and it eventually just came out. It wouldn't really hold it in there. It's like, that's how tight down it is. Like, you can't, like, even when you watch it, it's like, yeah, it ain't moving. I got a JB Junior clone in the bridge. It's actually pretty nice sounding for hard rock. Maybe not quite metal. But rock or hard rock. And the neck is actually from a Leo Jams kit that I bought. That I don't know. It just went all kind of wrong. And I eventually just it was one of those ones where the neck down here was way too tall. So I wound up shaving it down some, although that was kind of difficult. And, it was like, I guess I kept it fairly flat, enough that it didn't really, make a difference. It plays nice. I mean, of course, I put a lot of effort into it. I've completely done a total, fret leveling, crowning, polishing. I've rounded off, the edges pretty good. I need to get a better mic for hooking up to my interface so I can get a better balance. I don't know. I might just wind up getting something set up with a condenser mic that's kind of like a little closer to the box or to the cab without being right on it. Because if I could crank it up louder, It would actually sound really nice coming through just the mic that I'm using. But, you know, that's a lot to worry about too. Because you don't know exactly how loud the neighbors feel like it's too loud. All right. I want to see how the light looked. I guess it looks nice. And that's like on its lowest setting. Because like I could go with like... like, whoa. I'm trying to get a tan in here, man. And it's like 50. Or that's like 50. 20%. And I can even go lower than that. And then I got these things right here. You can change, you know, whether you want warm or cold, or, you know, I prefer warm usually. Warm at 20% is not bad. You know, I mean, you can lower it down even more. But it does give a nice even, you know, amount of light. You know, it's okay. It's not like awesome, but you know, I would say that for the like, I think $30. I mean, this thing is to buy one of those lights was going to be like just under $40, and I bought two of them for just under $30. And the only problem with it so far is the fact that I can't find the other diffuser. Now, whether it just didn't come with it, or whether I'm just missing it because I put it somewhere or it fell, you know, underneath something, I don't know. So I'll keep looking around for it, see if I find it. If not, I'll just rig something up. But I don't think I really need anything. I think that's plenty enough. You know, because like even if I stop using this, you know, I still a good bit of light, you know. But yeah, I think that's the thing, is trying to chase, you know, the 4K. You know, I don't know if it's just wasting my time or something I definitely want to do, because it seems like there's all these, you know, all these things that are kind of like, well, if you do this and you got this problem, you do that, you got that problem. You know, it's like, well, if you do 4K, you know, even with reduced frame rate, it's still going to be a lot more data, and it's going to take, you know, more, you know, serious equipment, hardware and software, you know, to edit, you know, or to, you know, to modify. And you know, then there's all these issues with if you want to use multiple cameras, you know, it might be difficult on you know, on your system if you're trying to use multiple 4K. So I thought about getting a 4K and having like a 2-camera setup. I got to have at least 2 cameras, if not 3. So it's kind of one of those things where, you know, what did it do? I gave it a hand gesture, now like the little light changed to green. So I'm not sure what the fucking deal is with that. What was the difference? Was it clear looking or something? I don't know. My eyes are so fucking bad, I can't even see the TV no more. And it's a 50-inch. It's not that far away. But yeah, it's all right. Well, I'm gonna call it at that. Say hi to your mom and inform me. Tell her call me. Love y'all. Bye.